Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Crazy people often show up in our stories, but these people outnumber some of them several times over. But as a tradition, they always get what they deserve. This story's no exception. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Thanks for the free food, lady. I lost my job due to pretty annoying circumstances. I happened to find my old bike and decided that I could maybe start working doing delivery services. Business was slow at first, but my contact managed to land on some nice people that thought they could help me out, and I don't charge a lot. Just the exact amount of money I need to buy whatever they want, plus the delivery fee, which is basically nothing in my country. Normally, I charge the delivery fee after I've delivered the food. Today, a new lady called me asking if I could buy her groceries, like 2 weeks worth of groceries for a family of 4. This is a lot of money. At first, she refused to pay me the amount for the groceries, but after I explained to her that my only income was going to be the delivery fee, and her calling me an untrustable bee a few times, she finally figured out how my system works and how I will not be able to steal from her. She agreed. In other circumstances, I wouldn't have argued and just let her go the moment she became rude. But I need the money, so off I went to buy the things. My bike doesn't have a place for me to put a basket or something, so I just have to carry all my deliveries in a backpack. It normally isn't a problem, but today I had to carry maybe 50 kilograms, maybe more, not sure, it was heavy AF, worth of food in my backpack and in my bike sandals, for 2 hours while biking around the city. When I finally make it to this lady's house, which was not an easy route, I took some minutes just to lay down on the sidewalk in front of the building and texted the lady. When she came down, she expected me to carry her stuff up to her apartment too. I said, sorry, I was too tired and it was too much weight. Also, unless they really need me to help, I don't carry the stuff up to their apartments. It makes me uncomfortable, especially if they have a family that can help. But I was unable to answer her fully because I was still trying to catch my breath. If you can't deal with it, then don't work as a delivery worker. Ugh, whatever. I'll call my husband. Is it going to be 5? She said. I need to sort that out with you. I normally charge 5, but due to this delivery being particularly hard for me, is 7 okay with you? This was a 2-hour trip biking with around 50 kilograms. No, I am not paying you that. You charge my friends 5. Yes, I charged them 5 because they asked for less stuff and the trip was shorter. It was easier. In reality, I should have charged double for this, but I think 7 is a good comp. And as I was talking, I sneezed. Oh no. I'm an allergic person. I'm supposedly allergic to dust, but honestly, my allergies trigger with everything. Today was a cold morning, so I already had a runny nose, so the mask wasn't helping a lot with keeping stuff out of my nose. What? You have the V? I should have known since you go around with that bike. Now you've contaminated my food and want to overcharge me? Oh no, you little bee, I'm calling the cops on you. Give me my money back. No, wait, I'm just allergic to... I'm probably infected too now. You should have told me. And now you're going to bring it into my home. What have you done? She was also wearing a mask and had a bottle of hand sanitizer, which she was now rubbing frantically on her hands while still rattling on about how I was a horrible person and a bee and a scammer and a thief and a threat to her and her children. The insults were growing more and more. She even demanded for me to go to my house, disinfect her food, then deliver it back because it's the least I could do. My house is an hour away. Ma'am, I can't do that. I assure you it's fine. I've been isolated the full 4 months. I've only been working on this for around 2 weeks, and that's enough time to get it. You're going to leave my children without a mother. Oh, God. I tried to argue for some more minutes, but it got extremely ridiculous. I couldn't give her back the money of her groceries. I couldn't disinfect them either. Too broke to buy my own hand sanitizer, LMAO. She wouldn't take the food nor pay me the delivery fee, and I wasn't going to leave without giving her the food and without being paid, but she wasn't even arguing or finding a solution. She just wanted me to take this V away from her and her house. Damn, she screamed so much other neighbors started to come down, and she wouldn't even let me explain and accuse me of coming to infect them all. Her husband even came down and ended up threatening me with the police too. I asked them if they wanted the food or not. At this point, being fed up with the whole situation, they said they didn't want anything from me and to just leave. So, Now I'm home with a backpack full of 2 weeks of food for 4 people. It's too much for me, but I'll probably gift half of it to my boyfriend. I'm sad all this happened. I feel like I stole from that people, but in the moment, it was so ridiculous. I tried to give them the food many times. Hell, at one point, I just didn't care about being paid, even though I needed it, but they were just so rude to me. I still got more food than what I could have bought with the delivery fee, so I guess it was worth it. I wouldn't feel bad in the slightest. Rude people. And our second story. Phone returned, thief out $20, no cops needed, Gotham has a new superhero. I worked at Subway about 12 years ago. My coworker and I were closing up for the night and some guy came to the door with a proposition. He offered to leave his cell phone in exchange for $40 to do whatever he needed to do. Once he was done, he'd return in less than an hour and give us our money back, plus an extra $20. We were young and stupid and fell for it. This was the best night we'd ever seen for tips, $24 each, so we felt like we had nothing to lose. He left us his stolen cell phone, took our money, and never came back. We looked up home in the contacts list of the phone, called it, and were greeted by a very angry owner demanding to know who we were and why we had his phone. We explained the situation and told him to pick it up at our store the next day. My coworker and I happened to have split shifts the next day, so one of us would be there no matter when the owner showed up. He came early in the morning and coworker informed me about the pickup when I came in. About an hour after my shift started, a car backed up to the front of the store, out of sight of the window and almost in the street that ran past. This seemed odd since there was no one else parked in front. A scraggly-looking gentleman, not the guy from the night before, entered and told the other guy working with me that he left his phone here yesterday and was told he could retrieve it. I said, "Oh, right. Other guy, go find it in the back. I have to run outside." As I was taking the license plate down, I noticed the driver was watching me. It was the phone thief himself. I chuckled as I walked up to his window and said he could have the phone back, but first I need my money back. He pulls $40 out of his wallet, which I took, then demanded the extra $20 he promised. He refused at first, but when I reminded him that I've got his plate number and now his buddy's on camera asking for obviously stolen property, he gently handed me the extra cash by crumbling in his fist and throwing it at me, so I smiled and told him his buddy will be back out soon. Back inside the store, my coworker reports that he can't find the phone anywhere. I said, "The phone was picked up this morning by the real owner, and I'm calling the police." Scraggles ran out, jumped in the car, and they peeled off. Someone who steals a cell phone doesn't deserve to be thrown in prison. Community service, fines, etc., sure. But are we too quick to just throw people in a cell for petty crimes? And our last story. Karen demands explanations. Background. Back in 2013, now 35-year-old female, lived with my parents, in part to help my mom take care of my dad as his health was deteriorating. Ultimately, it turned out to be cancer caused by exposure to a chemical during his military service in the U.S. Marine Corps back in the late 60s and early 70s that turned out to be terminal. Due to the fact that Mom and I were so focused on Dad's care in the time we weren't working and Dad's own inability to take care of some things, some of the more cosmetic parts of home maintenance fell by the wayside. Minor things like fixing the walkway from the driveway to the front door, not a sidewalk by the street, mind you, and chip paint on the front of the house suddenly weren't as important as trying to coax Dad into taking his medications, trying to get him to eat something in hopes it would be kept down, or making sure he made it to his appointments on time. A month or two after Dad passed away, while Mom and I were still grieving, a wild Karen appears at our doorstep claiming to be the president of the HOA that did not exist in our neighborhood. Dad checked for that before he ever made the offer on the house. Mom was out at the time, so I was the one who answered the door. Karen: "Hello, I'm Karen and I live down the street. I'm the secretary of the Neighborhood Homeowners Association. We demand to know why your house has reached the terrible state it's in." Me: "No, you aren't. I know for a fact that your homeowners association doesn't exist. My late father checked into that when he bought the house and a lawyer looked into it just after he passed. So stop lying." "Well, I'm still entitled to know why your house is in this state." "Not my house. It was my father's house, now it's in my mother's name and that of my older brother. And you aren't entitled to anything. But if your sanctimonious butt wants to know and harass the grieving widow of a veteran and her spinster daughter, fine. You're about my parents' age. So my father lost his life to a battle with cancer caused by his service in a war so that people like you could spit upon him upon his return. Instead of claiming to be from a homeowners association that doesn't exist, be honest and say you're demanding an explanation that you have no right to. We're not in city limits either, so you can't try to whine about the city ordinances. Well, it's still lowering the property values. Then why are you demanding an explanation for yourself rather than offering to help? I know most of the neighborhood knows they brought food. I don't have time for this. You're trespassing and you have 10 seconds to start leaving the property before I call the county sheriffs. If you come back, they'll be called unless you're escorted by a Girl Scout with a cookie order form. Get bent. The only appropriate response to Karen is F off. No one cares what you say. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.